ET, it's Happy Martin Luther King week.
It's
I love the enthusiasm.
oh no, I was wondering if you was going or if you was reading some shit. I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. Nah, it's lit. It's a big week, man. I'm sorry, Martin. I just didn't want to go to Arizona. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I forgot today was Martin Luther King Day, so I kind of want slap me for sure. But I think the streets we need to do a little bit better job of promoting. I don't know. Once Black Lives Matter fell apart or whatever it was, but I think we should. I should have seen Martin Luther King Day coming from a mile away. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm definitely
Yeah.
appreciative for what he did. How do you feel
Oh,
about it,
understood.
Dre? We used to call you a mixture of Martin and Malcolm X. So
Yeah.
what do you feel about the Martin Luther King? You feel me?
Well, I actually went to work on MLK Day. Most
Ooh,
people only remember it because they didn't have to go to work. But I
right.
feel like it's like the duty never ends. Duty never stops calling. I guess.
Right, right. I'm
Happy
already know.
Happy Wednesday, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Point Forward. Exciting conversation this week, as you can all tell. MLK week, a beautiful thing. Shouts out to the NBA. We always have our slate of games on the Monday that Martin Luther King Day is celebrated on, and it's always some great games. Atlanta usually plays. Memphis usually plays. Memphis has the largest African American population out of all the NBA teams.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
yeah.
And
You
then
would
what
think it
about
was
DC?
Atlanta.
They have to play too, right? DC plays
DC
pretty
always
early
has
as
a game.
well. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
DC always has
We
a
uh
game.
we came from Portland one year, right? And I think we played them on MLK Day. So obviously that time difference is 3 hours. So I remember showing up. They're like, "Yo, we'll get in Saturday night. That should give y'all enough time to get acclimated and wake up." So they're like, on a game day, you basically gotta be up at like 7:30 a.m. East Coast time, which is like 4:30 a.m. our time. So they're like, "Yo, come to film, come to shoot around, all this stuff." So I just remember everybody being like, "Bro, I didn't go to sleep till like I couldn't go to sleep, but I didn't go to sleep till like 3." So everybody was on three
Right.
and a half hours worth of sleep. Gee, we didn't wake up to the fourth quarter, but man, they must have beat us by 45 points. Gee. Like literally, like legitimately. So that's my only bone to pick with the MLK games is making sure like the what I mean, because that was a big game and like we basically sacrificed a game because we were basically playing it, fucking preparing at 4:30 a.m. our time.
That's a bone to pick with the schedulers, and that's an interesting DraftKings call out early in our segment. That if you look at the schedule, sometimes it will give you some insider information on how to bet on the game.
Hell yeah, bro. Because I could have told you that. I'm like, niggas finna do what for who? Like, man, if Dame and CJ ain't got it, that's dead. Because this is where y'all supposed to average 60 together. This is the day. It'd be like
What you
that. Them
say?
games and like them games in like Denver. That's when I'm getting shots up. You like, man, hell no, G. I'm tired. Like, why do I have 10 shot attempts in the first half? Like, you know what I mean? And they trying to get their breath.
Cause
It's like, no, go be Superman.
all facts, as well as this week, we are talking All Star voting. The Celtics, they do have the potential to man a whole starting five lineup to the All Star game,
I'm
and
into that.
we going we want to break down. Does that mean anything for them as potential champions or their run to the championship? Obviously, it should. We've been seeing some of y'all commenters, the tweeters and deleters. We will be addressing a few of you. Evan was trending for a hot second on Twitter. We will
Yeah,
dive into that. I thought that was really funny, by the way.
that's what I said. I'm like, damn, you niggas, man. I can't wait to get on
Only thing
my
that's a
platform and
compliment.
talk to. I thought it was tight lit too, but who cares? I really didn't care. But I'm like, man, mind y'all business. God damn, I can't just drop comments in the comment. I mean, it's a good
Yeah, we
compliment, but like, I had to turn
yeah.
my
Well,
comments off. That's that much.
lastly,
Don't worry.
chop it up with our guy from way back, before those who drafted him saw his full potential. Nikola Vucevic will be joining us today from the mean streets of Chicago. We got a chance to chop it up with him, sit down, talk about his amazing career, and Yeah, coming from that part of the world, who has they've held this thing called fundamentals close to their vest, which has kind of held the game of basketball together. So, Et, you got some heat. Someone tried to say your sentiments are similar to why supposedly you don't like Giannis, which we know isn't true. But they was like, this is why you don't like Giannis, because you don't like foreigners. So they made it like
No,
you
bro, I
know.
don't like niggas that airball from the top of the key, and now you talking about they top five. Like, no, nigga, I love Giannis, bro. Luka Doncic is my favorite player, besides
That
Jason
is
Tatum.
true.
So
That
like,
is
I
very
don't
true.
know what y'all talking about.
That is true.
Like I still stick up for Manu Ginobili. I think he's one of the best players ever played the game. I get booed out of every room I say that in. So like, look, man, I know,
As you should,
but that's
because he ain't better than
as
he was cold, but he ain't better than Gilbert, and I'm sticking with Gilbert. And
I can
Gilbert's
understand
crazy.
that.
I can't
I'm
agree
rock,
with him. I can't. With,
but
you
bro,
rocking with Gilbert?
Ginobili bro, I'm always rocking with Gil Zero. Don't Mr. Hibachi, to stand on your own is just a stand. A lot of people don't. Gilbert was averaging 27 on his own. G. Like solo
And they don't.
dolo,
They
he
and he was
showed up.
25 years old. They don't even get that.
Yeah, yeah, and he was solo dolo. So that I mean, come on, bro, that's an understatement. I just think like when people ask me who was really good at basketball, I'm like, damn, this nigga Manu. I mean, at least when he saw me, maybe I was his good luck charm, but it was not.
No, I
I
think
wouldn't invite
Mono was
nobody to
Manu
the
versus
game.
everybody.
Nah, but he was
Yeah.
extra Manu versus me. His
I,
Euro was a
I,
little
I had
extra
some.
Euro.
I had some extra energy from Mono. Anytime I seen him, I was trying to kill him. I don't know where that came from, but it is what it is. Shout out to one of ET's favorite rappers and one of my childhood favorite rappers,
Who?
Cameron and Mace. I said
Oh,
it
okay.
is
I
what it
was
is.
like, okay. I just met Cameron the other day, G.
I think you told me that. How was that
Yeah,
experience for you?
it was. I mean, it was straight for me. I mean, he was pretty chill. The nigga was just having random conversations, so you couldn't be like, "Oh, this is such a big deal." It was just like, "Yo, what's up? What's going on? Like, how you been?" Da, 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 da. Like, we had equal people in common because he grew up. He didn't grow up, but when he used to be in Chicago, he's like 2 blocks away from my crib, and then
Yeah.
both our OGs. The reason why he was in Columbus, I played cards with that man like every week. So
Ah.
like Sticks is on me. So we had just a mutual friend in common. But that was pretty dope, man. They doing their thing, and Cameron is
Yeah.
one of the illest.
Yes. Et wants to touch a topic that I feel like is for Cameron, but we'll venture if we get there, not later on.
What topic is that?
Spo.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, perfect. Let's get into that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
real.
Before we dive in today, just a reminder that we currently are cooking up 2 drops a week, one on Wednesdays and then another on Fridays, which will be focused on culture and business endeavors. Hope y'all start. Just learn, people, please. Make sure that you're subscribed to Point Forward wherever you're listening to your podcast and follow us on all social channels at Point Forward so you don't miss a thing. Now, you already know what it is. Point Forward is presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code POINTFORWARD because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details. So, ET,
Huh?
in one of the earliest returns of the All-Star fan votes, there were 5 Celtics who were in the top 10 for the East votes. Pretty intriguing, I will say that. It is rare for a starting lineup to make the All-Star game. I'm wondering if it truly can be done and who's came closest to it. Let's break it down. I did think I thought Detroit had all 5 guys.
Nah, they only had 4, man. Who?
Tayshaun,
Tayshawn didn't make
Tayshaun
it.
never made the All-Star
Tayshawn didn't
game?
make it. Tayshawn never made the All-Star game, bro, which is crazy.
Tayshaun never made a All-Star game. An All-Star game.
Correct. Nah, man.
Oh, no
Tayshawn
way.
it was a dope conversation Tayshawn had told me before we dive into this, but he was saying when they won a championship or whatever, his agent was like, "Yo, now it's time to leave. go get you a team, woo off the bam, like finesse from there. Like we can use this, and you go start your own team. And Tayshaun
Mm-hmm.
basically was like, look, bro, I know I'm good, but I'm good because I'm around these 4 Hall of Famers. He's like, it's
Yeah.
not my job to go switch a team. It's your job to go get me the most money in a position I'm comfortable in. And like that was pretty much it. So it's like I think he said he took like 9 million less for the sake of like him knowing the success he had and why. Like you understand what I'm saying? And being like, yo, I'm better off here with this dynasty than anything else. And you compare it to like a Trevor Ariza situation when Trevor Ariza won that championship with the Lakers and tried to dip and start his own situation and it didn't air out.
Yeah.
But I feel like that
Because they
awareness
went to go
was
get Meta. Okay.
yeah, I feel like that awareness was everything, but that was pretty crazy. But no, he wasn't an all-star part of that four duo though. I
But
think
he
the
stayed
last
on
team
the
to be able to
NBA
do
All
it
Defensive
was
team.
yeah. The last team to be able to do it was your Warriors, right?
They had 4.
Well, four.
They
I'm
never
saying
had,
that's the
they
most I
never. Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, yes. It's never been 5. I feel like the Boston Celtics could have had 5 at some point. Yeah. So
Shit,
I mean,
five
our
Hall of
list is.
Famers at once. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
Lakers too. They had a bunch of guys. If we go back, I think ET, you be killing it with the notes. 62 Celtics made it. They have 4. 75 Celtics have 4. 83 Sixers have 4. Oh, that's
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah,
Cause
Maurice Cheeks was a starter too, dog.
yeah, yeah. Cheeks could hoop though. I knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, Cheeks was
Chicago.
nice.
Chicago.
Chicago,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
already
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. The 98 Lakers have 4, and that goes into what you said you wanted to talk about, like what does that mean for the championship? So the 98 Lakers have 4. That's Kobe, Shaq, Eddie Jones, and Nick Van Exel.
Yeah. And Kobe
And
was
the Pistons.
Kobe was like the start. He was a All-Star game starter because he was voted in, but I don't know if he
Oh,
was.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's
You
true.
know what I mean?
It's true.
If
Similar to
he was
Penny's
like the
situation.
yeah.
Penny kept getting voted in when he was still technically hurt.
Yeah.
The 11 Celtics, KG, Ray, Rondo, and Paul. I'm really upset about that one. That one kind of hurt me a little bit. I think Chris Chin called me, and because I was trying to push for that, I had good numbers. I was hooping. I was on a tear, but I mean, we weren't trying to win, and so I didn't have a chance. I was upset about that one. I feel like
Oh yeah,
I got
that was
snubbed
my
once
rookie
or
year, right?
twice.
Yeah.
Was that your?
We started off the
Yeah, that
season
was your.
3-13. Yeah, so that's my rookie year. So that was kind of tough.
No, that wasn't the year I got snubbed. It wasn't 11. It was I think it was
It's probably
2010. The 2000. It
yeah,
was 10. Yeah, it
yeah.
was like 08, 08, 09, or 10. One of those years. It was one of those years. I
Well,
think it
that
was
year
2000. One of
you're
those
like
years.
19-6-5, so it's probably
Yeah,
10 is when y'all
10.
won 27 games. The year before that was 09. I think y'all made the playoffs.
'09 is one of them years I think I should have made it. Just one of them
Yeah,
years. Not the terrible year. But it wasn't my fault they
yeah,
didn't want to win. But yeah, anyway, I remember the 15 Hawks. I got some good stories on them. The 15 Hawks, they
yeah.
had Holford, Teague, Millsap, and Culver because I knew that they were a good regular season team, and I knew we weren't going to see them in the playoffs. So, like when we would
Yeah,
play
they won
against the
60 games
Hawks,
that year.
yeah, they did. They were going crazy. But I knew playing the Hawks, and you know the coach always wants to have a reason to try to motivate you with a chat, and
Yeah,
it happened. It didn't happen too often. Steve is not like a big guy that had to come in and rah rah rah. But a few times he would. And this particular evening, he was saying, guys, this is a team that we can see in the finals if we get there. Like, we got to take this matchup serious. Like, he would do that against all the good
yeah,
Eastern Conference teams. Like, most coaches do that. When you have a big matchup, like against the Clippers, you didn't have to do that. We knew. But, like, certain games, like, those guys, don't forget, we could see them in the finals. And this was Toronto's or another one of those teams before Kawhi.
That-
Before Kawhi.
but you're like, that's never
And
believable. Like, but it's like, come on, Steve, get the fuck out of our face. Like that type shit.
no. So I would stop him and be like, I'd be like, Coach, hold on. He's like, yeah, Andre, they not going to the finals in June. And he would look at me like, but why would you just ruin the whole speech I gave? Now the guys aren't up to play. I'm just like, nah, we better win tonight. Like, we supposed to win,
Yeah,
like win the game. Like, you don't have to motivate me. We gonna go out there and smack them. That's like
yeah,
do what
but
we do.
respect
But
our ears. Yeah,
they not going to the finals. And yeah, sure enough, like I knew the Hawks weren't going to the finals. But shouts out to them. 17-18 Warriors. They have 4. Obviously, we know that. That's when ET has had a few rants on those Warrior teams. And so,
I was surprised all 4 went to be honest. Because I'll say, bro, 4 dudes that were in the top 20 in their prime, making an All-Star game and winning an NBA championship back to back. Who the fuck would have saw that coming? Not me. not me. I would have never guessed, bro. You guys were literally the underdogs that whole year, bro. Because at the end of the day, we were just like, bro, because when Steph shoots, that means Clay's not allowed to shoot. Then when Clay shoots, that means KD is not allowed to shoot. So I was just like, bro, how do they have any type of advantage? And luckily, you guys overcame it, and that's going to be a great story in your documentary.
yeah, it'd be like, what's that movie called? Where Denzel was a football coach?
Be like, remember the Titans?
Yeah, because we had to integrate. You know, it was like integrating the white and the black, but we had to integrate like the greatest shooters and the best and the egos of the league and make sure it worked.
It's like when Sting joined the NWO and he wore the red face paint, and that's when the streets started cracking. And it's like the NWO is already cracking, but then Sting showed up, and it was da 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 da. And then you remember that, bro. I don't remember nobody from that day. So y'all. I mean, to overcome that, bro, was crazy. You guys had to play versus LeBron James and everything, and that was a hell of a matchup.
Man, don't forget Kyrie Irving, who's killing it. Shout out to that's a great analogy with wrestling. Shout out to my man Sri Ram, who is Tech Titan, doing some dope things at A16Z. He's a huge wrestling fan, and so shout out to him. But yes, the odds of how many Celtics this year are going to go into the All-Star game. And so let me break down the odds first. So with 2 players, for how many players would make the 2024 All-Star roster, 2 players are at a minus 125, which means it's 4 to 5 return, or 4 to 5 odds, meaning if you bet 100, you got to bet $125 just to get $100, and so it's not 1-to-1. Now 3 players, wow. You have right. So you really is like you got to bet more money to even make some money, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because it's pretty much a given.
Yeah.
Now 3 players are at plus 3,000, which are 30-to-1 odds. 4 players are at plus 50,000, which is 500-to-1 odds, and 5 players at 100,000. Plus 100,000, which are 1,000-to-1 odds.
I'm gonna put a stack on that 3 players. I ain't gonna lie. I might throw 4.
So,
Derek White ain't marketable. If Derek White was like a little bit more good looking, he'd be an all-star.
Yeah, but Derek White is gonna make the All-Star team this year.
Over Porzingis?
Like, think about this, right? Here's what I'm saying, right? Because we probably will have to. If you want to do it right now, we can go over the whole Eastern Conference roster.
I'm just saying, like, over Porzingis. Porzingis got to make it.
The only reason why I'm saying Porzingis has missed some games this year, you know, they'll use the injuries against you. I think they'll do that against the Clippers. Clippers might only have 1 guy make it as opposed to 3. But I'm saying the way that they always have that 1 guy every single year who they push for him to make the All-Star team. It's in the media. It's other coaches. Right. It's their own coach. It's the whole media push. It's the whole push for a certain guy to make the All-Star team. Derek White he will make the All-Star team this year. Like he has the highest plus minus. He has the highest plus minus in the league, which has never mattered until this year. Which is why I know that. Think about that.
No, that's real. I understand. The league is filled with narratives for sure. It's just a lot of guards, bro. So it's like you gonna take Tatum, you gonna take Brown.
Tatum's a forward. They're gonna put Brown as a forward.
A guard. All right. If
Brown's a guard. Brown's a guard to me too. But Brown might be a forward on the ballot.
Yeah, who knows? I'm just saying, like, when it's coming down to Halliburton, Trae Young, like Jalen Brunson.
Trae Young is always used against him.
I don't know how no more. Shorty keep giving out 30 and 10. No, I dig you.
He definitely is.
If you're gonna take it away from somebody, pause. I guess you take it away from Trae, but
Brunson,
I just don't.
Brunson got to make it.
I don't see how Brunson not gonna make it.
Yeah, Brunson got to make. But how many guards can you have? 3, 4. You got Dame, you got Brunson, you got Trae. Am I missing anybody?
You got Dame, you got Brunson, you got Trey. That's saying enough, bro.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
if you
get
want
White.
Derek,
You get a two
you got
guard.
Halliburton. You got Halliburton too.
Halliburton got to make it. That's 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like Trey gonna get screwed. Like if that's the case, like depending on like the numbers. And I'm
That's what
I'm
I'm trying to
digging
tell
it.
you.
I'm
That's
just
what's gonna
saying,
happen
but that's
because coaches are
crazy,
voting
bro.
too.
So yeah, and I did coaches are voting, but like let's if
I'm not disagreeing with a word you're saying
oh, no,
right
I'm
now.
just saying
I'm
like
just
it's not
telling you
like it's
what's
a
gonna happen.
I'm saying it's not like it's a steals category where like a bad defender can go get 3 steals a night and make all defensive team. Like Trey is getting 11 or 12 assists a night, and like every year he keeps going into like breaking records, and it's almost like not saying he's getting done like James Harden, but sometimes like the James Harden effect to like put this on the back burner and be like this year. Individual stats don't matter, so you won't get the league MVP. You know what I mean? The next year do matter, and winning don't matter. And I'm just saying, like, shit, shout out to Derek,
Correct.
but like, 28 is 28 compared to a nigga 17 with three of the best players in the world. Like now we screaming this out. Should Chandler Parsons be arguing that he should be an All-Star because he the fourth best option, averaging 15? You know
Who?
what I mean? I'm saying back in the day when Chandler Parsons was the fourth
No, I,
option,
I
he was
heard you.
getting. But I'm just saying in general, like when we're sitting here, Derek might be doing his 16 ain't better than Trey's 28 and 12. And I love the storyline, but shit, you sending the 3 people the reason why they won.
And Jaylen Brown is considered a forward, and I have 2 other guys. I don't know how we didn't say their names. Donovan
Drew,
Mitchell and Tyrese Maxey.
my point is exactly, dog. And Tyrese Maxey is going ham and cheese. They better be lucky
He
Darius
is.
Garland hurt. Like Darius Garland go crazy too.
Yeah.
So like when you sitting here, it's like, man, I want Derek to make as much as anybody, but it's like Dame is going. That's
But the East
1,000%.
don't have big. Well, the East don't have bigs though, so that can make up for another
That's
spot.
why Julius Randle's going to be there. That's why Bam Adebayo's going to
Julius,
be there. Julius
one of
Randle's
them
not
might
going to
get.
be an NBA All Star. That's wild.
I don't think so. Bam should be.
That, Tobias Harris might as well
Porzingis,
be in there.
Porzingis, you can't put Porzingis over Bam. Could you put Porzingis over Julius Randle and Paulo? Paulo might be just the third big real. I mean, is he a 4? Like it's Giannis, it's Joel as like your center power forwards, and then Paulo might be your next center power forward for real. The
Yeah,
numbers he's putting up,
I
and they're winning.
yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I just don't. I feel you, bro. There's a lot of people there's a lot of storylines to be taken where Derek White got to show
Basically,
up.
basically, we
Like
saying there's only 2 Celtics that should make it.
I think 3 with Porzingis. Like I think Porzingis did his work early, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I think
No,
Porzingis. If
okay,
anybody were
so
to make it,
name these. I'm gonna name 5 or 6 guys. Name any of these. No. Okay, so we got Bam, Julius Randle, and Banchero. Do you think Porzingis should make it over any of them 3?
Bam, Julius Randle, Banchero. What's Bam's number? She realistically, I like
Bam
that
is doing
number.
it. He
I
been
just
holding
think
it
the
down.
record. I just think the record screams a lot. G. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you just said it. You playing
Oh
with 2 of
shit!
the
Bam
best players
averaging
in the league.
22, 10, and 4. Never
That's
mind.
what I'm
My
trying to
fault.
tell you, my
Oh yeah,
guy.
fuck what I'm talking about. Yeah, Kristaps.
Bam is making the
You
All
might
Star
be
team.
able to go back to Latvia for that weekend. Shit, he averaging 22 and 10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bam
bro,
is
that ain't
killing.
looking. Yeah, nah, Bam got to make
And
it. Never
and
mind.
and Jimmy is one of the top vote getters in the East. Has he played enough games? Who knows? But you
Jimmy gonna be
thinking
there regardless. I'm not mad at that being a lifetime achievement award. That's cool.
this man's crazy.
Not in a negative sense. I'm just saying like he missed some. Like nigga, Chris Paul would show up, miss 89% of the games, and already have his hotel booked.
Now I
You know
will
what I
argue
mean?
against that one. I will
We
argue.
kept Steph Curry
You
home for Chris Paul. We kept Steph Curry home one year for Chris Paul and sent David Lee.
listen.
You were there for that.
You might be right, but that might be the only one time. That was 2012ish, 11, 12ish. It was early in Steph's career. Yeah, 11, 12ish, somewhere around there. Now, but I will say
But
this,
that was the
right?
first year they turned it around.
Let me clear this one thing up, because everybody's been a part of the Chris Paul slander at some point in their career life. Everyone has, right? And so one day I did go back and look at some Chris Paul accolades. Every year that he's made the All-Star game, he deservedly made it. Now I know who snubbed me when I missed the All-Star game. I know it to this day. He's one of I used to watch. He was in the movie I used to watch before every basketball game. I just gave you the answer. But
Ray Allen. Yeah, Ray.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because he was with the big three. I was just like, because he was a
Yeah, it's Ray. No, and it's Ray,
he was
bro.
he was
It's
an
Ray.
add-on. He was an add-on, so he didn't get selected. But somebody
Oh.
got hurt, and he was a replacement. I was like, wait,
It was just
yeah, I was upset about that. But I
Yeah, you
went and
like,
looked
bro,
at Chris
yeah.
Paul's accolades. He should have made it each time. Even when he made it, I think he made it in Phoenix one year. I'm like, damn, he made it late in his career. Like, he missed some years. Chris Paul did
Yeah.
miss some years that he did make the All-Star game. And that's what made me
I'm
look
not
at it
mad
different. Like, and so you had a funny comment you just made earlier. It was a slight, but it was real and raw.
What
It was
did I
funny.
say?
About a Lifetime Achievement Award. You're a funny guy.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you know how funny you are sometimes.
I'm saying it's not a lifetime achievement. We be sitting here like, bro, this nigga been washed, and we got to keep. You know what I mean? Not
I wouldn't
Chris. I'm
phrase it
saying
like
in
that.
general, you might be I'm saying you
I
might
know
be
you're not
sitting
talking
somewhere
about.
and be. Oh, I ain't talking about Chris.
I know you ain't talking about Chris, but I wouldn't put the other person in that category.
Okay.
As long as
Jimmy.
as long as he keep going, as long as he keeps getting to where he's getting to at the end of the year in May and June, you got no argument from me.
All right, and this is what I was saying in general. So this came off as a backhanded compliment. Like, no, bro, the All-Star game ain't the All-Star game without Jimmy. That's what I meant. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, when it's coming
You
down to
think
it, like,
so? Nah, I disagree
I
with
mean,
that.
I don't think Jimmy's a top 20 player, but I can say that. Like, that's all I'm saying. You talking about he's good enough or whatever. Let's just call it, like, let's shake hands right here. Like, I say the game need Jimmy, and you got him in your top 10. And we're going to agree to disagree.
Nah,
Like, you know what I mean?
I never said that
Or
either.
like top 10 or 15. I'm just saying in general, like that's the best. I think when I think of an All-Star game, and you're gonna tell me
I
everything
see
you
what you're
told me
saying.
about Jimmy
I'm with you.
competing and him as an individual, like no, there's not a game where it's featuring top 24 basketball players in the world based off what Jimmy has done, bringing them teams to the finals. Like no, I think if Jimmy were to sneak in off his back alone, like he deserves that. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So only two Celtics going to the All-Star game is what we saying.
Man, that fucked me up then, G. So I
That's
just
what
knew
I'm saying.
Porzingis was going. Yeah, damn.
Yeah,
It
and
is what it
Drew's
is,
just the same thing as a Lifetime Achievement. What's the opposite award? Because that's the award Drew Holiday gets. Because he don't never get credit. He never gets in. He'll never.
Yeah, but that's his
just
own
due.
goddamn fault. Like at this certain point, bro, you didn't play with Drew, bro. Drew probably watched. They probably ran every play for that Derek for Drew. Derek probably hit one shot, and Drew was like, "No, that's you, man. You good? Keep doing your thing. You look good." Like, you know, Drew will take a back seat like a motherfucker and be like, "No, he's so good, bro. Keep doing it. Keep doing it." And it's like, nah, like. I mean, like besides Drew being that selfless, I guess, but I just think like shit. If he wanted to go be All-Star, Drew could go be an All-Star. He literally just playing the fifth man role, dog.
That's one of the best compliments I ever heard, backhandedly. But I think we can give that compliment to Drew. We won't get any. We won't hear any noise from that compliment.
That's a man that keeps trying to retire after he knows they're offering him $150 million. Like every year they're like, "You playing? All right, we got 28 shots for you. We got starting lineup. You know what I mean? Magazine shoots, everything. You sure you want to be part of this? I'll figure it out. I want to go be a husband." Like that's literally Drew, G. So like, the fuck. Shout out to Drew Holiday. Yo, so I
Oh
was
my
wondering,
goodness.
bro. Like, obviously they went deeper. Pause on like, what was the odds of three teams making it? But say if like three players made it, or the more all stars that made it, does that higher your chances of winning the championship? Like how high is that? Like, has any team ever done that? He mentioned like
No,
the
I mean,
2011, besides you guys, of course, but that's a different. That was four players in the top 10.
obviously it increases your chances. That means you got all the talent. And in the NBA, as opposed to football, teams with the most talent have the higher chances of winning, and usually do win it. How many guys were on that All Star ballot when the Lakers had 5 Hall of Famers?
You talking about with Gary Payton and them? Or you talking about
How
when?
many? Yeah, Gary Payton. It was Kobe,
Gary Payton,
GP,
Carl.
Karl
Yeah.
Malone, and Shaq. Okay, I guess they wouldn't have had a. They didn't have another guy that was All Star worthy. That was only 4 still,
That's
and
some
they
shit.
lost.
Gary
They
and
lost in the finals though.
Carl.
Carl got
Them
hurt.
niggas is
People forget
old.
that.
Yeah, them niggas old as hell. GS shit didn't even look right.
If Carl wouldn't have got hurt, they might have won it. They went to the finals.
Bro, Carl left Utah at year 16, dog, and came in the league at like fucking 25. so, so, so you like shit. Like his
That was a
prime
bar.
was gone. Like, yeah, his
Yeah, that's a
chances
bar.
was, yeah, he had his 2 chances, 97, 98, 96,
Yeah,
97.
yeah, yeah. Somebody,
All right.
somebody asked that I feel. Somebody asked that I feel left out being the 5th guy that didn't make the All Star team with the 4.
Did you? I felt low key.
Ab-
I feel like if Harrison Barnes existed, that literally took all the heat off you. Like shit, he started ahead of you.
No, this was with the 4 guys. This was with KD.
All with the 4 guys.
Yeah, when they saying that with those 4 making it, that I feel left out as the 5th guy. That no, I didn't
Did
care. I
you?
had a free weekend. No, absolutely
Yeah.
not. Cause I knew like what you say. Well, you were being funny. You said y'all overcame a lot. If Steph shooting, that means Clay ain't shooting. If Clay shooting, that means KD ain't shooting. Y'all had to overcome. Yeah, that's what
Did
life
you?
is like. You know you ain't getting no
So
shots.
I'm
I can't
wondering.
get numbers.
So you weren't tripping, but did you see anybody from that squad like press and be like, man, I hope, because outside looking in, I'll be like, oh, the same way I'm so sure that like the Warriors would have had 4 that year. Was there anybody on the team being like, ah, shit, I got to get my numbers so I can make sure I make the bus, not like be left out and underachieve?
Yeah, I
Because that's
mean
a
we
real
go viral.
conversation.
It's a
I'm
great
not even trying to
conversation.
go viral. It's just a
I
real
don't need I
thing.
don't need to go viral right now. So maybe this is something you bring back up in 3 years. Because obviously you know the answer. I mean, we all who we are. Like we hoopers. Like you trying to go hoop every single night. Obviously.
Yeah, no, I felt
I
that.
mean, if you, I mean, you and I are hoopers, so we get it. But I think people, our fan base has gotten so in tune with the game, like they are reading our lips as we walk into the arena, or like they got the thing where they're
Oh yeah, but people are voice like the
captioning.
voice.
They're no,
Yeah, yeah.
no, no. They have caption of an interaction in the game. I'm like, how are they getting that? And the camera, you can have your back facing somebody, and they got the audio coming of 2 people arguing. Like they had KD and Russ their interaction
Yeah.
last week, or they had some other guys what was being said.
They
I'm like,
had
damn, they catch
Dennis Schroeder,
everything.
D. Russ. Yeah.
Right, all that, all
Yeah.
that, and so luckily we didn't have it back then, but it's starting. I'm saying they're starting to catch up with people's tendencies. So if you just think
Yeah.
about it and even watch basketball today, you know certain people they pressing. That's just who they are. It's not a
No,
good or
but
it's not a bad thing. Like sometimes pressing is good. Like you just said about Drew. If Drew would be go like I'm about to press tonight, he would make the All Star team.
yeah. I think one thing that occurs, I wasn't asking that for like dirt. I'm asking that for the
I know you
sense of
weren't.
like people. Yeah, so people see behind the scenes of like it matters. Like certain weekends during that weekend, niggas' shoes is dropping. Remember Paul George had his first shoe drop and he wasn't in the All-Star game. So like when you're
Yeah,
sitting there and it's like it's not
yeah,
nothing bad, and like when people are like, "Yo, do you like Trey or do you like this person?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like him." I mean, you can't knock a person trying to build a brand. When you're trying to build a
yeah,
brand and it goes outside the team and naturally it's bigger than you, like
yeah.
you're gonna be directed to go and remember about that brand, and that's as a person that like was in that position at one point, I'm like, shit, I can't knock you for doing that. Like, and that's a real
No,
thing of being like, not pressing, but it's the same way when dudes are sitting here going after promotion and being like, hey, I do want to make all NBA so I can have 30 extra million dollars. It's not me saying this, but if I'm already here, like that matters. I'm in this business to go do that. Like, you
I
watch
mean when you say it
billions and
like
dudes
that,
is messing with the market. Niggas is messing with the market on billions to make they. So who says it's really bad? That's why I didn't want it to be like a thing of gossip. It's like, no, why, like what Draymond said prior, why is it bad when a player decides to switch teams, but you know what I mean, a CEO might switch companies? And it's like, nah, G, we're all cognizant of trying to be at the top of our level and caring when it comes, and if we don't make it, y'all ask, how do you feel about not making the top 75 or not making this? or not making that. And then the presumption is you took a step back. And then when you go behind those closed doors, the difference between a tenth of a point or not, or scoring the right night in front of some random beat writer that's doing all-star votes can really change your whole life, my nigga.
100%. When you say it like that, it sounds like common sense, because it is, to be honest. And
Yeah.
I've had conversations with, I do feel like in certain moments, like I don't want to say certain things, but yeah, I have seen some pretty funny stuff, like really funny stuff, and I have had conversations with coaches over the summers, like I'm trying to figure out this or figure out that with their star players. And I know one coach in particular was hilarious. You were speaking about Paul George. And I'm thinking, like, Coach, you got to pay attention to certain things. Like, when is his shoe dropping? Like, what week did his shoe drop? And he'll be like, what do you mean? I haven't paying attention to that. I'm like, no, that matters, bro. Like, I've been on a team where we had a player's shoe drop during the game. Nike dropped the shoe during the game for this. I'm like, damn, this is cold. It was like the first time ever. I'm like, this is cold. And it's KD. And so he don't have to try or press. Like, he don't care. I don't even know if he wore the shoe that night. But he wasn't trying. He still got 30.
That's
but
real shit.
Yeah, it depends on the guy. But most guys can't do what KD does. So it's like, I got to go get what I got to go get tonight. Can't be an off night tonight.
Yeah, say you sign to a Chinese shoe company. They ain't trying to hear that shit talking about KD and them. They like, no, bro, you are $350 million watching y'all want to see Li Ning or Anta go crazy.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
You know what I mean? No, that matters. That's what I'm talking about. It's an understatement of brands. Like, it's not one thing, just like your coach calling. You getting check-ins like every other week. Then it's like a thing of like, certain people are like, oh, I'm doing my players. Like, no, it's extra pressure on all. And then you be looking at your coach like, damn, my nigga, I got 25 million riding on me. And you talking about, and we arguing about what my personality's like. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why I used to come in practice. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, my nigga? You just watched me do a fucking commercial. Help me, motherfucker. Like, shit, we gotta make this look good. You out here talking about offensive sets and shit. A commercial about to drop in 10 minutes. I'm gonna go viral for one good thing or one bad thing. That shit matter, bro. Niggas don't think you show up at the practice, nigga, like, man, you had 4 this week. Your ass went on a run for 15. But it's like, nah, G. Like, them brands matter, bro. And all those accolades matter. And it's just like, man, the cooperation. And sometimes the collaboration on it from coaching and stuff, you can't be naive to it. And a lot of times when you're talking about feeling bad for wanting to hit goals. At one point, I was at the point where I wanted to like be such a team dude. I didn't have goals to reach. How can you live without setting goals? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? At one point, like, I didn't care about making all NBA. I didn't care about doing none of that shit. It's just I was just floating in it, winning. It's like, it's not bad to have goals and have sights to set and go after them. Because, like I said, you it's 80-20. So
I got a solve for one of your issues. Does it work?
What is it, little folks?
I think they might do it in football a little bit. Like, I'm starting to see Mahomes in commercials with Kelsey and his head coach.
Yeah. All right.
So if I'm getting a shoe, if I got a shoe endorsement that's $100 million plus, I'm throwing the coach a $2 million endorsement deal, fam. We got to be aligned on where we trying to go.
No, bro.
No, I'm being for real,
bro. And that's real, bro. And when it's coming down to business, you removing yourself. It's like, no, that's what we got going. You get Pat to throw 35 times a game, that nigga gonna throw you a $2 million bonus. Ask your wife what you think. What she think. What she think y'all should do in regards to this. Straight up.
Oh my God. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
The NBA season is in full swing, and when I can't get enough of the action on the court, I spice things up betting on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Right now, new customers bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code POINTFORWARD. New customers can bet just $5 on the NBA and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code POINTFORWARD. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 and older. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See tkng.com/basketball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
All right, we have a new segment that I can't wait to get into. This segment is based on a broad range of things from the comments and tweets you sent to us, or basically just any type of word on the streets. Let's get straight to it.
So, E.T., you made some headlines with the situation that happened with the Toronto Raptors versus the Los Angeles Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised to see it, but I wasn't. It made me a little nervous because, and I think America in general doesn't understand what the word woke means. They've turned the word woke into something that it isn't, and they made their own version of it, similar to everything else.
Yeah, it's a get back. Woke is just like a tattle back, like stop punching on me or don't punch down, like some weirdo shit. I don't. To be honest with you, even if we got in trouble for it, you wouldn't saw me miss not one step because I'm like, no, I did not mean it in that regard. So if they think it was hot outside for me, I'm like, bro, it's winter. Because I'm not, fuck, what you talking about? You're going to call me a xenophobe. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Who created that? Like, bro, what? Imagine putting it.
No, they called you the Tyrone Bisbee. They called you the Tyrone Bisbee of xenophobes. You know, Tyrone Bisbee was a black white supremacist. So you said it on Twitter. You were saying, we'll get to it, but you stated, you mean to tell me you're saying I'm making fun of somebody that is the same vein that those that say the same thing about me?
Well, no, I basically say, I said, y'all will wash y'all hands just to wipe your ass. So coming from a situation and being like, yo, bro, with all due respect, if you going off on a rant, coming from a nigga like with a different voice, it's like, nah, bro, that rant ain't gonna hit the same. Folks is laughing. So all I said was like, yo, he probably should have had the assistant coach dive into it because it's gonna hit different when you have an accent. And everybody say, "Who are you saying?" It's like, bro, I wouldn't know, motherfucker. Like, shit. But that's life in the streets, man. That's 2024. Let's keep going.
I feel like we just covered that topic that fast.
We covered that like a motherfucker.
Yeah, marvelous. And it was good to see some heat on you because, I've been slandered for much less, as we all know.
Heat, man. There ain't no such thing as heat, baby. The only thing I worried about was like, this is what I'm really worried about. So somebody must have posted something from like a fake like Udonis Haslam page, right? Mm-hmm. So like I go back and like Udonis like, bro, worry about yourself type shit. Like you do you, like woo out the bam. So then I send like 2 or 3 more like little jabs. So then it turned out not to be Udonis's page. So basically I just gotta stand on it when I see the nigga. And that's the scary and that's the scariest part about this whole thing. Is literally keeping that same energy and looking that man dead in his eye. So yeah, that was my only scare. I'm like, fuck, I just got into a Udonis. It's like Udonis or, you know what I mean? The other people that cancel you. I'm like, I'm definitely scared of Udonis. And I be by myself all the time. So I'm like, bro, they gonna catch me the first day. You know what I mean?
And he looking for people in grocery stores when he 85, so he's serious.
Man,
he was mad at Bill Russell. He was mad at Bill Russell.
I mentioned that. He was like, you saying they get hype? I said, bro, you put out a release saying fuck Bill Russell. You talking about get hype? Like what are you talking about, OG? And then it turned out not to be that nigga. So I just gotta be ready to fight when I see him, and that's it.
But was he right?
Coach Darko was Coach
Darko like what are his sentiments?
No, absolutely. I think he was right when he said a few things. For the 23 fouls in 12 minutes is aggressive. Mm-hmm. I think one thing that he said was like, why do they have to win tonight?
That was powerful.
Like tonight y'all decide. No, that was real. He's like, so why? So they've been losing and everything. So y'all just decide for sure they have to win tonight. And I understand his frustration because it was like, hey, man, 24 free throws compared to 1. The only funny thing about it was when LeBron was like, shit, I thought they fouled and we didn't.
That's something I would say.
They fouled. They fouled and we didn't. And then they got the brush in his scalp. Bro, the fact that man was brushing that shit, bro, is crazy. Shout out to the GOAT, bro. That's how long he been playing. A lot of y'all that been hating on Brian and like trying to make like fun and shit, like go back to '03. Brian had one of the greatest hairlines of all time. You know what I mean? Buddy, the responsibilities of the world, the NBA, the game, bro, that's gonna wear you down, bro. Trying to break records and shit. You signed 90 million. The second he signed 90 million, shit started creeping back ASAP.
The top 5 scorers of all time, they got with the hairline. Bron, Kareem, Karl Malone, Kobe, MJ.
Man, Karl Malone got early. Shit, and MJ, you knew they was
MJ got early.
Some niggas
MJ got at like 25.
Nigga, Carl shit was back here and edged up like this and that way. What he did
Kobe,
have a good, I don't know if he S-curled that thing or not, but yeah, he had a little curl, Carl.
He did. He had one of them. Oh, I do want to go back to coach, right? This is why I can never coach. ET, I swear to you, I've thought of this too many times. I've sat on the bench a few times and thought, if the referees was just on this straight nonsense that we feel they own, right? Like, and in our opinion, like, no, tonight y'all on some nonsense. We ain't gonna win tonight. I literally would be like, yo, my young fellas, go get y'all some good run. I'm talking about from like 5 minutes in the first quarter on. Like, y'all play the rest of the game. We just gonna get some good run tonight because we know what time it is. Not in terms of like there's something happening, but if I ever get that feeling,
of course.
Like, yo, y'all, come on, man. Like, we came to work like y'all did. I had to tell the ref one time, like, listen, our minutes matter too. And this is before Black Lives Matter. This is before Black Lives Matter. I'm like, listen, I think I might have told this story before. Like, hey, man, our minutes matter too. He's like, what you mean? Fam, all of us, we trying to make the team. I'm trying to make sure I keep my minutes. I'm trying to get a rhythm for the playoffs because these are the only minutes I'm going to get some shots up. Hey, man, I'm at work right now too, so respect my minutes. And he was like, I never thought about it like that. I appreciate that. We had a very, very heart-to-heart, eye-to-eye conversation.
You know, it's the truth. Because I go 3 for, like, I had a chance to go 3 for 6, and you don't blow the whistle, and I'm 2 for 6, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, that's the difference between 33% and 50%. But, like, you joking shit, it's like, nah, bro, like, don't forget the middleman. Like, shit, we be fouling each other and fucking each other up, too. You call a foul.
Point. Forward.
Yo, but what I was saying was one thing that occurred while I was, messing around and listening to like the word on the streets was how about the Spo situation? How true do you think that was?
I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to inform me. I don't be, my ear isn't to the ground as close as it used to be. Yeah,
well, I was in the fields. You know, I stay in the field. So I heard a little bit of everything. But that's here nor say, but whatever. So long story short, apparently Coach Spo just signed that $120 million deal. Shout out to Coach Spo.
Very deserving.
I see people that I love when people get a great pay raise in a beautiful city. It's like I envy them, but I'm like, man, you better ball. You better do your thing. You know what I mean? That penthouse better be right. You better be living. If I show up, you telling me you got a stopwatch with a motherfucking like Toyota Corolla with cotton seats, like that's when you should get your punk ass robbed. But long story short, I believe Spo wouldn't do this. Apparently, they're saying they waited to offer him the contract extension until his divorce is final.
Oh, he got divorced.
He got divorced, which is pretty low key too. But they said he got the contract extension after his divorce is final.
You know
is that not crazy? What?
So now that we have our Friday drops, which is business and culture. Are these business lessons that we're learning here? No,
that's what I'm trying to. I'm asking the same thing. It's definitely ain't chivalristic. Is that a real word? It definitely ain't chivalry, but it's some.
So, I got some really good. I don't know. I should give away this game. I got some really good advice from. Obviously, I didn't listen. But wait, I did. And no, it doesn't matter. My situation's different. My wife can have half. Like, I ain't tripping, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've known her since she was 9. I mean,
all things said on this podcast or put us under the influence of saying things that we shouldn't say. That's my asterisk on that. But
yeah, I feel you.
Separate from that, Richard Jefferson told me, get married in your last 2 years of playing. And I was like, what you mean? He said, even if you sign a prenup, she's still entitled to half after y'all get married.
Okay.
So he said, why get married before your prime earning years or before your first big contract? Because she's subject to half of everything else after the fact. Now, she's not subject to half before y'all got married. That's where the prenup
Well, you're going to get married
is.
because you want to be a good guy.
Yeah, but you could be a good guy and get half your stuff taken. Both of those can be true at the same time. You feel me?
No, I'm just saying. No, I feel you, King. I was just saying that's the words I heard right before my niggas got tricked to the altar. Oh, you a good dude, huh? Okay. All right, yeah,
Right.
you different. All right, you done with the games. All right, cool. There we go. You get married at 23, man. Good luck, man.
And
All
so
right, I guess I can't come back over this house no more. But keep going.
And so I'm saying, that was the advice he gave me. He said, you do all your prime earning years. He was like, why not? You could just be together, because there is something called common law that you can get a prenup for. And I apologize, ladies, for, giving the game out, but it needs to be given the way the game's being played based on what I see. And so and then once your last 2 or 3 years hit, you're on the vet minimum. Now, okay, we can part ways with this if we ever part ways. Hopefully we don't. And so, yeah, you make strategic timing decisions on, if you can, on how you can get paid based on your earning potentials. And that seems to be the case here with the Miami Heat and their extension of Eric Spoelstra.
Point. Forward.
We headed back home to Chicago to chop it up with the one and only Nikola Vucevic. We had our friends and family out. Super dope, really unique rooftop studio setup. You will be hearing Chicago in all of its glory. Sirens, helicopters, and all. Sort of like Grand Theft Auto. In addition to that, we feel like it fit the scene that was set with Vucevic's amazing story from childhood, growing up with a professional basketball parent, and a horrific scene of an accident that could have possibly kept him from being who he is today. We hope you all enjoy the story.
Every time I meet somebody from the original Yugoslavia, you think if you guys were able to play with that team in the Olympics, would y'all be able to win
Great question.
an Olympic? And if so, who would you put on that team? Who would be the starting lineup? And you got to think, who would that be? Luka Doncic?
Yeah, Luka, Jokic, probably
Bogdanovic, both of them.
both of them, yeah, too. And
Zubek,
well, if Jokic is the 5, the 4 would be
Mirotic.
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah.
Mirotic
If
can
you
go.
go like EuroLeague players and all that, yeah, I don't know who would play the 4, but let me see who. Mirotic probably started the 4 unless you like went really big and like maybe put
would you start?
me and Jokic or something.
Yeah.
But I still think the U.S., if they brought like the best big dogs, I think it'd be tough for us to still beat them.
Over you don't think Yugoslavia would have a chance?
I don't know. U.S. when they bring their best player, it's tough, man. I mean, because you got like
Kevin Durant.
you got like
Steph
skill,
Curry,
athleticism, like IQ,
LeBron's
all of it in
skill
one.
is crazy.
Like we're not as athletic. Like I mean, if we slow the game down over one game, you never know. But I think like U.S. will probably still be the favorites. Which, by the way, I think the U.S. should start bringing their best players to the World Cup. Because if you're the U.S. and you're like the basketball powerhouse, you can't finish 8th and then 4th in like 2 World Cup.
That's real.
But we here with Nick Vucevic, our guy from Philly.
Philadelphia, old
We
teammate.
go way back.
Way,
We go
way
way,
back.
way,
A
way,
lot of people
way,
don't even
way,
know
way,
I played
way.
for Philly, which is crazy.
People know he played for
A
Philly.
lot of people don't know I
They
played for
don't
Philly.
know, bro. He barely played, bro. When we
I
went
was
on
there
that
for
run,
like 6 months.
yeah, when he went on that run, he was in Doug Collins' doghouse.
So,
Yeah, towards the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
towards
so
the
do
end.
we have that conversation today?
We're definitely gonna have that conversation. The first question I think people don't know that you played in Philly. But I remember when you left, I was like, man, Buddy just got transferred. Like he's going to survive, bro. He's going to be successful.
No,
bro.
we knew he was good.
Yeah, we knew you were good, but I just knew like when you left, I think you're so deep in Doug Collins' doghouse that when you got traded, I'm like, good for him, because it would be over for him if he came back.
It was a weird year for me. Like Doug loved me from the first workout he saw me. He was like, "We want you." Like first time he saw me, and then when I got there, it was weird because it was lockout year, so I didn't have summer league. I didn't have a whole summer camp, all that. It was always kind of congested. I played overseas and I came next day just practice, so I was kind of thrown into it. But I played well early on. I don't know if y'all remember, I got hurt in Miami, and I strained my quad, and the doctor said it wasn't anything. So we go to shoot around. I'm thinking I'm fine. I try to shoot, my knee gives in.
Yeah.
So I come off. For whatever reason, Doug thought I wasn't injured. I don't know if he got it wrong. I don't know what happened. I never actually even cared to ask. But then after that, he was kind of on and off me. And then we didn't play as well as a team, whatever. And then there would be periods where he'd let me play and it was fine. And then sometimes when I didn't play, towards the end he didn't play me at all. But I'll say this, for me it was a great learning experience because I came from college. I was the guy. And then you come to a different the NBA and it's not the same way. Then you have to learn to do everything on your own. If you're not playing, you got to do extra work. And they don't really teach you that in college because they tell you when to practice, when to do all these things, and then you play, so you don't know. So I think all of that was a very good learning experience for me. But yeah, I think that for sure me getting traded helped me then start over and kind of get a new opportunity and play. Because I don't think it would have worked out the same way in Philly, but looking back at it, it was a good learning experience for me. But it was weird, I never really understood why he kind of got off me so quick. I never really did anything wrong like that. I had bad games, but I was a rookie, it happens or whatever. It was a little weird the way he kind of was just off me out of nowhere for no apparent reason, maybe because he thought I was faking injury or whatever, but still I played after. So I don't know what happened. It was really weird, but then I could tell even in summer and stuff, it just wasn't the same. Then when they traded me, I was like, yeah, it's probably better for me to just move on. But it was weird.
Evan got the answer for that. I don't know. You always got some.
I don't got no answer for it, bro. I don't have no answer. I don't have an answer. But we skipped super far. But let's take it back from the beginning, and your upbringing. I don't think a lot of people know. Obviously, you're one of the best big men in the league. But the basketball pipeline that you come from is unbelievable. Your dad was a professional, European professional for over 20 years, right? He had a 24-year pro career. And your mom played for the Montenegrin national team, correct?
Yeah. It was the Yugoslavian
national team back in the day.
Yeah.
And you spent most of your childhood in Belgium, right?
Long time ago, yeah.
So let's take it back there from watching your dad play basketball, you first touching the ball.
Yeah, so my dad played. He even also played for Yugoslavian national. He played with DeRozan.
Oh wow!
And so he played in the '80s when it was some of the best Yugoslavian basketball then. But yeah, I grew up around it. My uncle's a coach too, so just kind of came natural to me. I always used to go to my dad's practices, games. I always wanted to be like him. That was my dream, be like my dad. And so I was little, always basketball in the hallway of our house, just all day, every day. And then, as I got older, I wanted to play basketball. And but one thing that was good is my dad never pushed me towards it. It was just more so he saw that I liked it as to what I want to do. And then once I got to a certain age, then he kind of sat me down and we talked about it. But yeah, it was my family came naturally, and obviously I was born, kind of having certain skills and things like that and a feel for it. And then I feel once I got to 15, 16, that's when he kind of really turned it up and kind of started because he saw as I told him that's what I want to do. So he was okay, this is the way. And he was really strict with me. He was coaching me actually back home, and he was really on me. And at times it was difficult because it's your father, so you're at home, it's your dad, but then he goes, he's your coach. He yelling at you, you're doing all these things, and you're what's going on? But then it's helped me. And then so yeah, I started in Belgium. I was 10 years old when I started playing. I lived there I lived there for 11 years, but from 10 to 12 I played there. Then I went to Montenegro for 4 years. And then after that I went to high school in California in Simi Valley, Stone Ridge Prep, then USC for 3 years. Then I got drafted, so all over the place a little bit.
Yeah, but when you're in high school, was that the time when you realized you wanted to go pro? You talked to your dad, and you were able to move to America for your senior year of high school.
Yeah, so I was
that.
After my junior year, I was playing Montenegro, and he felt for me to improve, I had to go to somewhere where I wasn't necessarily the best player, and I had to fight for more because like in my team I was becoming the best player, and he saw I was becoming a little comfortable. So he always for him, like the biggest thing for me was to always push me, like to not let me get like happy where I am, to always push me, and so he felt like I needed something that would like put me in a really tough position out of my comfort zone to like make me take that next step. And so there were like options in Europe, options like different things. But he wasn't big on me going pro that early because he felt like I wasn't ready yet physically, especially. And he was worried that if I go to like a big team in Europe, like I'd just be on the bench, and not play and not get an opportunity. And he really liked the U.S. way, like through college when you still like, you get a couple of years to develop. So the idea was go to high school for a year, and if I get a scholarship, great, I can stay. If not, I can come back. I could always come back. And then I went to Stonebridge for a year.
What was that like when you first started out? Of course, it's like a language barrier in a new place.
But be honest,
environment.
How was basketball in America compared?
That was tough at first, like the language, the different culture, different everything. And back then, we have internet like today everywhere. Your phones and everything. You wouldn't have access to it all. I remember my first tournament. Like we played 3 games. It was in Vegas, and I scored a total of 6 points. Like I just could not.
Damn.
Yeah, it was like the game was so fast. Everybody was so much like more athletic than me, quicker. Like I was like I grew kind of a lot, so I was a little bit, like white, big man who's like slow and can't really move. So I was like kind of at that phase, and so like I just could not figure it out. Like I was just getting like out, and then so that was kind of like in October, November. Like we had a Christmas tournament. By then I was already like figuring it out a little bit, and then as year went on, it was better. But I remember the first tournament was just like, what's going on? Like, do I even belong here? Like it was tough. I just could not figure it out. And then like as it went on, I got better. But yeah, it's just you realize how much quicker the game is here. Like more free for players to express themselves. In Europe is much more controlled. Coaches control a lot of it. You have to play within the system like completely. Here is more like we have certain like way of playing, but then it's on a player that could create and use his skills and IQ to do stuff. So that's how it was there. So for me, it's like that. I think that was also part of it. But me making that transition really helped me because I felt like that's what for me. The difference was like the skill set I had it, and like that was obvious. But the physical part, like the physicality game, the speed, like that was something that here, I'm going especially to college and then the NBA, like the way they approach that, like that part of the game, that really what like helped me take that next step. I feel like if I stayed in Europe, maybe I wouldn't have got it to that level. So once I figured out a little bit, once I got like my body got a little stronger, developed, it helped. But even when I got to college, my first year was tough too because then I was I was a year younger than my age because I was 90, but everybody was born 89 when I was a freshman. So that was a little bit tricky too. But then my sophomore was better than like junior. I took a big jump. So I think like in the moment it was tough for me to figure it all out. But as like the years went on and time passed, and I started getting more comfortable. Like I really see like big jumps in my development once my body started catching up to like my skill set.
Who was your coach at USC?
First it was Tim Floyd, and then it was Kevin O'Neill.
Oh, Kevin O'Neill.
Kevin O'Neill.
Yeah.
He's Arizona for a hot second.
Yeah, I do.
Like a real hot second. Like 20 games.
Really?
That's it?
It was like I think he might have got a year in. It was crazy.
He's pretty intense.
Yeah.
They don't have him like that no more.
Yeah, right.
They should.
So you had like a up and down year as a freshman. It took 6 games to pass clearinghouse or whatever.
8 games, yeah.
8 games, and then
that was good for me because that helped me like.
Yeah.
I just like all I could do was I could practice with the team, but they travel so I could lift all the time. So I was just lifting and working on my game. So actually, it was good for me that I actually didn't play those first 8 games because I probably wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. So I got probably a good month or so just work on myself. And when I got to play, I mean, I only played like 10, 15 minutes a game that year, but like it was for me, it was huge to even get that experience.
At what point when you're at USC where you're like, okay, I think for sure I can make it. Like I belong here. I'm an NBA big. Like who'd you go up against? Like what was certain moments, certain games where you're like, yo, I won't be needing to use my go back home and play anymore. I'm gonna for sure play.
I think that when I started thinking about it was my sophomore year. We played like teams like Texas, Tennessee, and they had like prospects. Like they had Damian James,
Yeah.
they
He
had
was in
Dexter
my draft
Pittman,
class.
yeah.
Dexter Pittman, wow.
Yeah, he was in
Pittman. Dexter Pittman
Texas.
can play some ball.
Tennessee had I can't remember his name.
Ty
but,
Smith.
I think it was him. Yeah, some player like
and Brian, the big guy,
Chisholm or something like that.
Wayne Chisholm.
Wayne Chisholm,
Yeah, he
So
could shoot
and
the
then,
three
and
too.
then like in the Pac-10, they had like a lot of good players, and like I could see that like I could play with those guys, and so I had like that's when I started thinking about it. Like, okay, maybe I have a chance, and then like. Because before that, for me, it was like stay 4 years, go back to Europe, and like NBA was like I didn't think it was realistic. And then my junior year, like I really took a huge step forward, and I was like really playing well, and that's when I knew I have a shot. But even like when I declared, a lot of people were very surprised because they still had it projected like second round. But a lot of these people that are in front of me, like I knew I was a better player than them. And so once I started, like the combine really helped me, and then like the workouts and everything, then I really like started jumping on people's draft boards. But it was a for sure a process. Like I wasn't like this huge prospect that you kind of knew from the beginning. Oh, it was really a work in progress that got me to where I am.
So walk me through kind of like who Nick is in terms of your demeanor on the court. You know, as a rookie, you're soft-spoken. You know, you're a rookie, so you don't say much. But even before that, you know, you said you were remaining your team back home in Montenegro, and then even in college or later years, you're the man. You know, are you vocal? You know, what's it like, you know, being on the court with you? Are you calling for the ball? Do you need your touches? Like, you know, kind of walk me through how you approach the game and how you vocalize yourself, and then how do you make your presence felt out there on the court?
Well, it's changed over the years. You know, like it's evolved. I think, you know, even after feeling my first couple of years in Orlando, you know, trying to still figure out who I am, like as a player, like what my ceiling is, and then like it's also changed once I became like an all-star, and then I made the playoffs, like with Orlando, all that. Like once I've achieved a little bit of things, I think it's changed the way people look at me and like the way to respect me and value my game, and then it's also then changed my approach. I'm not the most vocal guy. Like I don't always say stuff. I try to pick the time to say things when I need to. I try to like mainly lead by example, like through my work and my approach of the game, and that's something that I'm big on. That I really believe in. That's I think goes a long way. I think the talk, if you don't back it up, eventually kind of dies down, and people don't listen anymore. So that's a big thing for me. But I still say I'm mostly calm, like on the court, quiet, but like I'll get get pretty upset at times and things like that. That's kind of the Balkan part in me. You know, we all have that. You know, if you see look at Jokic, Luka, and all those guys, we have that in us. But competitive, but we don't always like show it through our emotions as much. It kind of comes out at times. But I'd say just mainly like lead by example and trying to do the right thing always, and do it that way.
How do you battle through a turmoil? Because a couple times you brought up in your career, you know, 6 points over 3 games when you first played AAU. You know, you had to do the clearinghouse and play so much your freshman year, and then you come to Philly, you know, one of the top 16 pick. It goes up and down, and he ship you off to Orlando on a rebuild situation. But it seems like in those moments, you somewhat accept them and, you know, take your time to really build and set yourself. What type of process was that when you went there and the patience that you showed to be able to continue to build your career?
Well, I think in a lot of those cases, especially when I was younger, a lot of it like was like my dad being ex-player and having to like him probably dealt with a lot of the situation. Having him on my side and like talking me through the situation helped a lot. Like for example, like the clearinghouse thing was like that was like really stressful because it was like very last minute. Even like not only for the basketball part, but even for my grades because they didn't accept all the grades.
Okay.
Then like it was like back and forth. I had to take some extra classes, but I was on a time limit. And so, like, just having to go through all that, I know as a 17-year-old kid, you're like, because I was still 17 when I got to see first, you're like, oh, it's all going to, like, fall apart. I'm going to have to go back, like, things like that. So having him, like, kind of help me with that. And then also through basketball, like, when I, like, that first game, those first couple games in high school, I was like I call him, like, hey, this is not for me. I can't. And he's like, just, you know, keep working, like, take your time. Like the coach was, like really, like, well, now they'll call it old school, but like he was like really strict, like really hard on us. Like we used to like practice at like 5, 6 in the morning, like then after school again, like Like because we lost like 3 games in Vegas, he made us run at 4 a.m. in the parking lot of it. Like we used to we practiced at a 24-hour fitness in Simi Valley. So we came back at like 4 a.m. We were running on the parking lot, like people coming out of the like backing out of their spots, like we were running behind him and all. Yeah, it was. So I was like, man, he's crazy. Like he hates me. He's always pushing me and things like that. And he's like, that's because my dad would be like, that's because he believes in you. If he didn't care, he wouldn't say nothing to you. Like he wouldn't waste his time on you. So each situation that happened, especially when a younger age, I would always like talk to him, and like he would always find a way to kind of get me through it. Same like in Philly, when it wasn't always going well, he's like, it's part of it. Like you're on players, just stay with it. It happens. And like so, it's just kind of him being there. That's really what's helped me the most. And as I got older, and that then you start to figure out and learn to just be patient and work your way through. And
Yeah, but talk about that time in Philly, because we all been traded from you played for the team that drafted you the longest, but sometimes you get traded from the team that drafted you. What mindset did you have when sometimes it's kind of like a dream deferred, and they kind of like just send you somewhere, and it's like, when you weren't there next year, I'm like, damn, so they just gave up on Nick, I guess? Like, what type of way did you feel? Were you just grateful in that sense? Because
for me, I thought it was a good thing. Like, at that time, I wasn't, because I think they signed Kwame Brown. They had re-signed Spencer. They had Lavoy Allen too there. So, like, Doug told me, like, I was going to be, like, 4th string. So, me playing was, like, really small chances. So, when he traded me, I was like, well, I'm going somewhere where there's no big man, so I'm like, I have a chance to play. So for me, it was good because I just felt like in Philly, like I said, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, he didn't believe me in me anymore, which was really weird because he was so high on me. Like literally the first workout he saw me, he told me, we will pick you if you're there at 16. He literally told me that.
I remember being in the gym, and he came up to me, and he's like, bro, I know who we're getting. And I'm like, who? He's like, he's 255, 7 feet. Long, like, unbelievable shot, unbelievable touch. And I'm like, who is he? He's like, he's from USC. I'm like, USC?
I see the same thing.
Yeah, I'm like, the fuck? Like that type thing.
A lot of people, like, I was really under the radar.
Yeah, and
people didn't really know about it.
And that's what I'm saying. And then he was like, man, he averages 17 and 9. He's strong and everything. So when you walked in the gym, I'm like, damn, 17 and 9, that's real. And then when I saw, like, your body and everything, pause, I was like, oh, this is thorough. And Dre will always talk about your hands because you're a great pause. Yeah. You're great, like, touching everything like that. Yeah. So we kind of knew what it was. It's just, like, the flow of we're all in the trenches in Philly, bro.
All of us. And I never forget one day, I don't know if you remember, and I understood where Doug was coming from. We all have our day.
I want to hear it, bro.
But I understood where he was coming from, where he was stop shooting them damn threes. Stop shooting them damn threes. He didn't like you shooting threes, right? And I'm like, man, this is before Big was shooting threes.
No, but he could really shoot them.
I'm like, bro, I ain't never seen a Big that could shoot like this. Hey, man, shoot it every time you get it, right? But he in the battle with the coach, but we telling him something else. And so that was the thing to me that I was just like, why would we take away from that skill set? But I think him being hurt, or anybody being hurt, because people don't realize Doug's career ended because of injuries. Yeah. Doug was the number 1 pick in the draft, right?
Yeah.
And his career was derailed quickly off injury. So I don't want to speak for him, but it felt like he didn't have any sympathy towards anyone being hurt. He was like, we played through injuries when we were younger. Like, that's what we did. So, like, you guys, I don't have no sympathy for him. I died about this game. So you should have the same, feelings toward it as well. Yeah. I don't agree with that, but I think that's where he was coming from. But speaking on that, shooting the way you shoot the ball, have you always been able to shoot like that? And how have you embraced the league gearing towards the big shooting the 3 more? Like, do you think about that, or are you just like, man, I'm eating now, like my game's always been like that, so I don't have to make that transition?
It was an adjustment for sure to 3 for me, especially like mentally, but like at a young age I was like, had pretty good touch, and like mid-range, especially like 3 here and there. And in college, I didn't really shoot 3s until my junior year. Then in the NBA, like for first couple of years, I didn't really shoot many 3s. It was forbidden, and then out of nowhere, it was just like shoot them. And so it took me a little bit, because like the way I looked at it was like they're taking away from my like main game, and I didn't look at it right away as like, oh, this could become like a big thing for me, like a huge like bonus to my game that I can add. And And then also, so for me, it was that fight first. Like, man, I'm like going 0 for 3 from 3, where I could probably make like, I'd probably go 3 for 4 from mid range. But then once I started like realizing what else the 3 could do for me, then I started embracing it, you know. But until you see the ball go through the net a couple of times, it doesn't
that's
you
real.
know, like, you just can't. And I think there's a part of like the front office and coaches don't understand that. Like for us players, like the ball, like you just have to see it go through the net like for extended time for you to like. In practice it was fine, but like in games, you know, you miss a big shot or something, like then you start overthinking it. And it's something like mid-range is something I did my whole life. Is like, you know, I just know it's my game. So it took a little bit, but then once I started realizing, like, once I started making a little bit of threes, then you start having teams like close out on you. Then opens up the drive, it spaces out everything. Then they started like switching, and I have a chance to go post up a smaller guy, like things like that. Once I like saw all that, then I really embraced it. And I still think like, you know, the 3 for me is not like, you know, it's not like who I am, like a 3-point shooter big like yet, like, but it's a, like if I make him, it's a like problem, and people like fear him, like for me making him, because I've had games where I make a lot and it changes the game completely, but it opened up my game so much more, where like now I'm able to drive like to the rim, create for others, you know. I play like we play 5 out. It opens up so much for me. Like it's harder like for big men to guard. I know when I guard big men, I can shoot threes. It's hard like with all the spacing in the NBA. Like you got to show and come back. You know, like I mean, it's hard. So it opened up so much. I think it's not just the 3 itself. I think it just changed my game completely, because now I do so much out there that's hard for other bigs to guard. That's really helped evolve my game. And it's not until I got to that's when I became an all-star. Once I started hitting threes and it opened up other stuff, that's really when my game really evolved. And I took my scoring too from back then like 16, 17 to 20, 22, 3, because you know, it opened up so much and added so many more weapons to my game.
Let's go back to talking about the All-Star year, and like when you first became an All-Star. What was that like? When did you know? Like, did you kind of feel something switch where you're like, yo, I might fuck around, be the best, one of the best bigs in the league?
It's only 24 All-Stars,
and it's
right?
only 24. Yeah.
I mean, for years I felt like I was close. We just in Orlando, we weren't ever like our team record wasn't there. Like I had numbers that other big men that made it, but you know, we weren't winning, so I never really had a chance. But that year, that was the first year that Clifford came in, and you know, I always talk about him, that he's helped me a lot, and people always take it as like, oh, he's like added a skill to my game or something, but it really wasn't like that. It's just more so, he's really helped me improve my mindset. Like he really like helped me. He gave me a lot of more confidence in my game, and the belief that like I can match up against any of these big men. Like first dinner we sat down, like he just like talked me up, but you could tell it wasn't just like hyping me. Like he was actually like speaking like really like real facts, like showing me numbers, showing me things like this is what you need to be, what you need to do, and he was really on me from the beginning. And we just like connected. Like I respond well to coaches that are like strong-minded. I think like it goes back to like from home, because that's how it is back home, and I really respond well to that. And so he's like that, and I think I just responded really well to his coaching, his approach, and like that year I just had a totally different mindset. Like I really felt like I was playing with like a chip on my shoulder. Like I belong among the best, and I wanted to show it. And so we started playing well, like we also the team and everything, and I was playing that good. And I mean, the whole system was around me, like for me to play. But I was just playing well. I really took a big step forward.
I didn't feel like the kind of you're a multi-time All-Star, but like, you know, sometimes a running joke is not a running joke, but like sometimes you don't get the credit you deserve. Did you ever did it ever bother you, or were you just like, man, I make enough money, I got the accolades, and let me just go back to?
I mean, it never like at a younger age a little bit maybe bothered me, because I felt like I was, but
you're putting in work. I mean, only when you're 20 and 12, you're getting 3, 4
I
assists.
understood also was, you know, playing for a smaller market, we weren't like really winning. You know, and I always felt like all of it wasn't always my fault, because like we were rebuilding, then like we tried to win it and it wasn't working, and you're rebuilding again. Like went through 2 rebuilds in Orlando, so it's not like a lot of it was out of my control. But I mean, you play in there, so at times it affected me a little bit. But I was, you know, always kind of like I always felt like I had a respect of other players and like coaches around the league. And so that's kind of what I was trying to focus on. But that year, kind of everything's just kind of changed. And then the 2 years after, like then the year after too, like when we went to the playoffs, and I had like a really good series against Milwaukee and things like that. Like I think people saw me different. Like, okay, he can do it at like a higher level. It's not just numbers on like a losing team. And so I think those, like the first year I became an All-Star, the next year, and then the year after that when I became an All-Star again, like those 2 or 3 years really changed people's perception of me. But I mean, to me, it was always like, at one point I was just like, man, I know how much work I put in. I know what I like bring, and I know like I can play against all like these best players in the league. But it was more for me like I wanted a little more like of the winning and getting to the playoffs and getting like that, because I needed that for myself to kind of confirm that like I can do all that at even higher level, because it's different. It's not the same.
Now you getting 30 rebounds in a game, right?
29.
Everybody else
29.
at?
29, yeah.
What's going on through your mind? That was just Miami, right?
Yeah.
I never forget. You did it a couple times.
Like, oh, I'm
where you,
finna
was
get
look,
paid.
you was looking at 30. I'm looking like, how you do you look up and are you watching like, all right, I'm at 20? Because Loon got 20 rebounds. He was like, man, Loon got 20 rebounds. That's insane. It's 29 rebounds.
He know he
I didn't even know.
Man.
I swear I didn't even know until like
Euros know their numbers, man. Let's not play.
no, I mean
You know your numbers.
that
dog.
game no.
Let's not lie, bro.
No, I promise you.
All
Like,
right.
like most of the games, yeah, you look up, you see what. But like, I swear that game, I had no idea how many rebounds I had. Like, for whatever reason, I never looked up. I didn't know. Like, we're playing Miami. They're like undersized a little bit, and like, but I don't know. I was just like one of those games, like, I mean, like
Worked.
a lot of rebounds came my way, and like there was like one or two instances when I had like 6 offensive like tips in one play. Like I think it was on a missed free throw or something. And, like I kept tipping it in, like, and I got like 6, and then like I ended up scoring, things like that. And I don't know, it's just the only time I knew I had like a lot was, I think it was an overtime game, and somebody came up to me and was like, hey, you need like X amount of numbers to pass Shaq. So that's when I knew, and I was like, man, I was like, man, I got to get these rebounds. I was like, I got to get these like couple more rebounds, and then like once I got 29, it was big. But yeah, that was. I really like during the game. I didn't feel like I had at no point like I knew I had like probably a good like close to 15, but I never knew I had like until that guy told me I had like 25-6. I had no idea.
I want to go back to something you said earlier about like, having success on a bad team and, want to prove that you can win. But you start off on a good team or a decent team. Yeah, a decent team. We were able to make like the second round of the playoffs versus the Celtics. Yeah, Game 7. We were 2 Rondo threes away from from being terrible TV and playing versus the Heat. And I was wondering, you hear that age-old debate where people are like, would you rather have 100 million and no ring or 50 million and a ring? So like when it's
200 million no ring, 50 million with a ring.
That's a crazy number. I know what I want. You
gotta take it to 100.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, 200. Yeah, fuck all that. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, when it came down to it, and you hear a lot of people say, I want to win, you were able to build up your confidence, build up your reputation, and kind of build up your game in maybe 4 or 5 or 6 years of just losing. Like, and now you're in a situation where, you're able to know yourself, add value, and be in a position with the Bulls where you're able to win. Would you change anything about that, or would you want to go to? I went to the playoffs 8 out of 10 years of my career. You went damn near all the goddamn time. Now I'll tell you, like 8 out of 10, I much rather went.
You made a lot of money. G.
But I much rather went 3 bad years and got my rocks off and like got my game right, became an all-star, did all that good stuff, and been able to impact winning at a later stage. So you think that was a decent path that helps you get on that situation? Because a lot of coaches will try to sell you,
but I have
win, and you know what I mean? Tell me.
Before he answers, I will say this about the Euro guys, right? Like I do think y'all be counting your stats. Let's get that out the way.
No Shioni. Shout out to No Shioni.
But they got to play for their country every summer.
That's real.
So they have to play basketball.
Where does this thing come that we count our stats? Euro?
Because we play with y'all.
Yeah, we play with y'all, bro. Stop playing, bro.
I do not do that. I promise.
Nick.
I promise you, I don't do that.
You help me out, so I want you to get your numbers.
Nick, you know
my big, so I'm hitting you the block.
Nick,
so,
you know rebound shit. You used to be
I
when we
think
played
I
with
think
you.
you
You
should
were
be able- I think you should be able to count your rebounds though.
I'm not bad
In
with it
Philly,
either.
what do I count? 4 rebounds?
No, you had a couple 12 and 10s, bro. You were
I
balling.
had 2 double-doubles in
You
Philly.
were balling, bro. And you went for that double-double.
No, I swear, bro. I don't count.
No, that's
I promise
real.
you. If
What would
I
I know?
if I did, I would not be able to play. Like
But
the way
y'all-
I can't play in a way where I'm like counting like.
But y'all got to. I'm saying I got your back, and I'm agreeing with y'all Euros. That's y'all argument that y'all got to play year round. Like
Yeah,
y'all
for the
don't
most
really
part,
get
yeah.
time off.
Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like they have to play like basketball all the time, and it's like no choice.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's different when you're having a conversation where it's guys like, man, I'm about to get my money so I can chill this summer. They like,
Yeah.
man, I got to go right back and play.
No,
And
that's real. So
it's
you
like,
always staying in shape.
yeah,
That's real.
yeah. You just always there.
I mean, like I don't think I would like change anything about like what I did. It's just that was my path. It's the way it was for me. Like, yeah, I mean, more than anything, I would love to win more.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not always in my control. Like, you know,
Yeah, that's
like
right.
we just like first when I got to Orlando, I was really young. Everybody around me was young, and we had like a decent group. You know, like a lot of people forget, but we had like Tobias Harris, Victor
Fournier.
Oladipo, Fournier was there.
Yo,
We were all
that
really
should have been a
young.
good
Yeah.
team, bro.
Like
They had
Aaron
Mo
Gordon, Alfred Payton,
Harkless,
like
y'all
yeah,
had some
like
good
we had
players.
some like
Yeah.
solid players, and then I don't know why like they traded Tobias like for like Brandon Jennings, Ilyasova, and they both left in the summer. Like it didn't make sense. Tobias was just re-signed on a 4-year contract, and then the year after they trade Victor,
Yep.
and they had just drafted Sabonis for Serge, and then they retrade him, and like 3 months later for like so there was so much like stuff happening where we never really got the right continuity and opportunity to like show like with that young core, maybe you bring in like 2 like good veteran players, and maybe I'm not saying like we become a championship team, but like, you know, we like in a playoff, and like not everybody. I think there's like this perception like now is like your championship or nothing, and that's unrealistic. Like for a lot of players, like if you like compete at like a high level and you play like in playoff series and things, like it's still
Like
like
the
a really
Milwaukee
good
Bucks.
career.
Like
Yeah,
Chris and Giannis had a lot
Yeah.
of time and a lot of
and they had one,
cracks
a
had
lot
to
of things
develop.
happen. So
Yeah.
and then eventually maybe you go on a team and you get a chance to win a championship. Like it's a lot of things have to go right for you to get a championship. So like only thing I wish like maybe was different that we like I had a little more wins early on in my career, because the losing does take a toll, and
Yeah.
like it builds up bad habits, and like whether
And other players be like, man, shut up, you lost. Like,
yeah, like you know, you
that
just
shit,
like
what I
you
mean?
know, like no matter how much stuff you do, like you still losing, so it's not like
Yeah.
the same. And then so that's what I'm saying. Until like kind of Cliff came and he completely changed not only my mindset but like the approach of everybody. And like for us to make the playoff that year was like huge, and it just changed everybody's mindset from there. Like we always wanted to do that, even if we're just 7th and we lost to Toronto 4-1. Like for us, it was big to even have a chance. And then next year, well, we lose to Milwaukee. Like, but that was what we could do. We couldn't be better than like 7 or 8. Like that's just the way our team was. And but at least you're playing for something and you're trying for something. You know what I mean? And then then you hope that maybe something happens, maybe somebody comes or like, and then you build a better team. But so that's the only thing I wish I had a taste of it more early on, because I think the losing just sucks. I mean, we all compete, we all want to win, and then once you get like through 50, 60 games and you play the last 20, like it's the worst. And so I think it's also bad for young players. I think in the NBA to have those years that man, 1 year or 2 that's fine, but like it's like eventually like it becomes like almost like a normal thing, like oh well we're not supposed to win, whatever.
By the time December hits,
yeah,
it's over.
It's a lot of bad habits happen through that, and so that's the only thing I wish maybe early on we had more, but
So
overall where I'm at now, I think pretty good, but I still think I have like a lot of game to play. Hopefully I get
well, you had this.
opportunity.
We went through an historical moment in like NBA history, in the bubble.
What'd you do?
Y'all weren't you playing in that game or weren't you on the court
Oh yeah, with Milwaukee, yeah.
with Milwaukee, and the season almost ended.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
That was a crazy
So
meeting.
what, like, walk through, like,
you
I don't
were
think
in there?
anyone's
No, I
spoken.
wasn't. I was in the bubble. I heard they were pissed.
He had to deal with all of it because he
Yes.
was the head of.
that no one knows about that.
Yeah.
But walk us through like what you guys were thinking as a team, because you were on the court actually warming up, and so like walk us through like what's happening as you're running the court, and when did you find out, and like what goes through the team's mind?
Well, we was like, I mean, we're out there like like the Bucks always come out late to warm up for like they only come out with like 13 or something o'clock. So we're out there like 19, like we're warming up, like I'm going through my whole thing, and then like they're not showing up. It's like 12, 11, like 10. I'm like, they ain't showing up. Like, what's going on? Like we didn't know what was the reason, and then like Michael Carter Williams, he played with some of the Bucks players. He got a text from somebody like we're not playing. So we go back, and like. Our only issue was like you should have just told us so we know, because we're out there like playing, like warming up. Now everybody's gonna ask us questions, how we feel and this and that, and like gonna put us in a. So our only issue was like, at least like if you had told us right before the warm up and we don't come out, then it's fine. Like we both decide not to do it and whatever. But yeah, that was the only thing. But it was weird because you're out there warming up and no other team, and you don't know what's going on. It was and you know what happened after that, but
it was like the damn world stopped.
Yeah.
My phone started ringing, CP started ringing. Now me and him, we playing phone tag, calling everybody, and then
I heard that was a tense meeting for sure.
it was interesting. It was interesting, but it was good for all the players in there to kind of get a feel for like how everything works.
What's that like coming over as a foreign player and playing the NBA? I'm not too sure how it is in the European leagues, but like now the NBA is somewhat half basketball and we're heavy on like, activism and, equality. What's that like outside looking in and being like, damn, I'm not playing today because the guys I play with are battling over, some type of race war, that type of situation. How do you feel when sometimes you just came to the country 10, 15 years ago and you're like, bro, I don't know all the history of this?
Well, I think for me, even like until then, I mean, I knew a little bit more than some other foreign players, but I didn't know as much until then. And then, I mean, as a player, you're just trying to like we weren't like saying much. Like we're just trying to understand the situation, what was going on. Like we knew it was deeper than just that one thing that happened. So you're just trying to like listen and hear and try to see what you can do. And I mean, I'd say most of us, if not all of us, were really just trying to support the cause and like be there for our teammates and follow the lead and try to be there to support everybody. I think a lot of positive came out of it. I think a lot of people didn't necessarily understand it and like from the outside and things, but I think it sent a pretty strong message, not only within here but like around the whole world, that we took a stand for something that's bigger than sports. And so I thought it was a good thing, and I thought it was great to see, because there's so many cultures and races and everything in the NBA. We all came together to support it. I think that was the strong message, and that's why it worked.
And do you kind of have that same situation when it comes down to like the Balkan boys? Because you guys used to be Yugoslavia, but you see sometimes even at the bubble, you're having dinner with Luka, you're having dinner with Jokic, you're having dinner with Bogdanovic, Nurkic, and all those guys. What type of unity or like, intention do you move with in that sense? Is that a conversation amongst yourself and those guys?
We don't talk a lot about like what happened there, because it was it was a lot of stuff, and it was it was a lot of ugly and things like that. But I think in Europe it's a little different approach to certain to that, and especially that's a very sensitive topic for a lot of us, back home. But we try to especially through sports, kind of bring like unity, like we get along all with each other regardless of if it's like Nurkic is Bosnian or like Bojan is Croatian, like Bogdan is Serbian, I'm Montenegrin, like Luka, Goran are like Slovenian. Like we put that aside because we all like speak the same language, like we come from the same. Right. Well, I mean it's different, but it's like it's like different accents of the same language, pretty much. Dialects, exactly. So we put that aside, and we just and I think that's kind of the mindset of most athletes back there, regardless of sports, just come together and what happened in the past. Sure, you can't forget that, and it's a big part of history, but we got to move on and try to fix things that were wrong. And I think us as athletes, we can do that by just being a good example. So we don't talk about it as much, but we try to just be more hey, we get along, this can be done. And I think people have starting to do that more and more also back home.
I say we do Ryder Cup, since we get our ass whooped. We can destroy it. We should do Ryder Cup for basketball. And this would be two perfect countries. Lithuania was never part of
No,
Lithuania.
they were USSR.
Lithuania got some ballers.
Yeah, Lithuania, they really hoop up
They
there.
really hoop.
Yeah.
But if you could get like the old Yugoslavian players,
Yeah.
the Balkan boys, and the best U.S. players,
No, that's what I've been trying. You
That'd
don't think
be-
they would win? I think y'all have a
bro,
chance.
it'd be a great.
I'm not saying we
bro.
don't have a
Luka
chance, but
always got a
I think
chance.
the U.S. would still be probably favorites, but I think we would have a chance, but it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be like a blowout, but I think the
It'll
U.S.
be
would
like
we doing this.
It'd
We
be a
doing this
good
every. We
15.
doing this every 2 summers.
Yeah.
We doing this every 2 summers around the Olympics. Not in the Olympics, not World Championships. So maybe every 3 years or whatever,
Yeah.
just around those
we
years.
got a Eurobasket.
Yeah, but
We always got
Y'all
some.
play with each other too damn much, bro. Y'all mix it up. Y'all play with each other all the time. So fast forward to modern day. What was your what's been your experience like playing for a Hall of Fame organization like the Chicago Bulls? Moving to a city that has such diversity with the nationalities and stuff. I'm sure you feel at home.
Yeah.
But how you been like playing here?
Like a lot. I mean, the Bulls, obviously, the history. I grew up huge MJ, like MJ. So for me, I always loved playing here at the UC, like just because of the intro itself. Like the intro, I still get hyped up by the intro.
Yeah,
After,
that's
all
crazy.
these games,
Yeah.
you see like all the jerseys up there, like things like that. So I mean, the fans here are really into it. They love the Bulls. Like every game is sold out. Like wherever you go on the road, we have fans. So that's been really fun, like to be part of and having a lot of support. Like wherever you go around the city, people love you, they support you. Like you go to restaurants, no matter how packed it is, they get you a table. Like things like that is like you appreciate that. They really love the Bulls, and so that's been fun for me for sure. Be part of. And as far as the city, there's a huge Balkan community here, like
of course.
huge.
Yeah.
So
I went to a Blackhawks game. I got to experience like the energy from
Yeah.
all the nationalities.
Yeah, it's
yeah, it's
especially
lit.
hockey. Yeah.
Hockey's
So,
lit, bro.
So
Yeah.
it's that's been a lot of great for us, especially like for my wife too, to have people from home she can meet and talk to, and so it's been a lot of good stuff here for us. The only big adjustment was the cold. After
cold.
Orlando, 9 years, took it for granted. It was a little bit of an adjustment, but the last 2 winters were pretty mild, they say. So I hope it stays that way. But that was the only thing that was a bit like the city has been great. I mean, people here like really welcoming. It's been fun. I mean, we really been enjoying it. We got adjusted. It was an adjustment for sure. After Orlando was like slow pace, everything's chill, relaxed.
Yeah, we talked
And-
because Boston was trying to. We thought you were coming to Boston.
Yeah,
over
it was a
there.
lot of Boston talk, but it never
never
happened. But it was a lot of. So yeah, it's been hopefully we have a better year as a team this year. But
And you mentioned your wife, Sasha Pavlovich,
Yeah.
is your brother-in-law, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Sasha can play some ball.
Sasha can play some ball as well.
Yeah, he went to the finals with the Cavs in
Yeah,
07.
crazy. That's wild. How's he doing? He still smooth?
He's back in he lives in Belgrade now.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he retired a couple years ago. He's just out there. He got 3 kids, so being full-time daddy. His son's actually pretty good. He's 14 now. He's playing, so he's spending a lot of
Sounds
time
about
with him. So yeah, he's pretty good. He's really enjoying that.
Sounds about right.
What's it like playing with DeMar DeRozan?
Well, we go back from college. We're both
Yeah,
freshmen
yeah.
at the same
Yeah.
time, so we know each other for a long time.
As
And,
development now, you guys both
yeah, the
developing
way-
the
yeah,
All-Stars.
sure,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
No, but the way it happened, because we always he mentioned in the podcast how him and I always used to joke around hey, when it was Toronto, I was like, hey, let's play whatever. And then when we had a chance in Chicago and we spoke about it, and when it happened, we were both really excited about it. But it's been great. I mean, DeMar, the way he me knowing him in college, when a lot of it was just his athleticism, high flying dunks, all that, to become the fundamentally skilled player that he is today. It's impressive to see how he's evolved his game, his footwork, his jumper, his patience, all that. I mean, it's impressive to see even his playmaking ability from Toronto, where he wasn't passing the ball. I was messed with until where now he's become a pretty good playmaker. It's been impressive to see him become the player he is. And he also, I think sometimes people always kind of hard on him, oh well, he never won in Toronto, he always get to the playoffs. But he ran into Brown almost every time. It was so it wasn't easy. In the East,
Every time.
I mean, almost, and then and so think he also plays with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and so it's been you can tell when he plays like he really embraces it, and so it's been. I mean, he's been playing great for us, and it's been fun. Be teammates with him again, and obviously him and I being the two oldest, we try to be leaders and do the right thing. So it's been.
What about I hate to say what if situations, but you guys had a great core assembled before Lonzo got hurt. What was that like? And in that situation, where do you think you all would be if Lonzo was healthy?
Yeah, that was I mean, the way we started that year, I mean, there was so much hype around the city.
I was hyped. I was like, man,
because the Bulls like made moves after such a long time. Like they signed players. Like it was, and then we started off great. We were first in the East, like just playing good ball, and then first Zach was like dealing with his knee. He was kind of in and out, and Lonzo went out for a while, and I think it's just it's completely changed the way we've had to play since then, And I think last year what was tricky, we always expected Lonzo to come back at some point. At first it was like January, then it was like maybe All-Star break, and then it was like he's out. So we never like really made the adjustment like he's just out. Let's try to find a way. It was always kind of like, let's play this way until Lonzo comes back, and then when he comes back, then he'll do his thing. I think for what Lonzo was, huge for us was, just he was able to get everybody in their spot, and he was able to get DeMar and Zach off the ball and made their life easier, and then that opened up so much for everybody else. And his defense, obviously that was huge, and then we played at a much faster pace. And so when he went out, then you had as DeMar and Zach to like handle and play make, which isn't really what they do as much. And so we had to completely change the way we played, and we just never were able to do that. So I think this year, hopefully, we understand he's out. We now have Javon Carter and Kobe as our point guards. Now we can build around them as our point guards, and we play that way. So I think there was just a big mental thing, like waiting for Lonzo. That kind of affected us a little bit as well. But it completely changed our team. I mean, he was such a huge part of what we do in so many ways. Defense, offense, pace of play, all of it. He's like one of the most unselfish players I ever played with. Like there was even to a point where you're like, so you got to shoot. Like he was always trying to like pass and get everybody involved, and like super easy guy to get along with and play with. Like just wants to make everybody else happy around him. And so like as a player, that's all you want in a point guard. Guy that can just pass, and he was one of the best ones. So big loss for us on many different levels on the court. But now that we know he's out, it's on us to figure it out and play without him.
Well, we wishing.
You got to tell this story because I don't think many people know. Nick was a survivor of a train crash, right?
Oh yeah,
like a train crash that killed 400
60
people.
60 people.
Yeah.
Back
you
home,
go through that. I remember when you told me the story. I'm like, damn, for real? And he's like, that's OD.
Yeah. A lot of people know. It was in 06. It was back home. So we were under 16 team and under 14. We went it was like winter break, so we went in like mini training camp in the mountains. So on the way back, we took the train to go back, and like the brakes stopped working. But so since we're coming down from the mountains, like it was downhill, and like the train in Montenegro is like up high in the mountains, like it's very like tough terrain, like it's not easy to access to. So like first like the train starts going, and like we don't know, like first we're like because so train stop was like stopped for like a good hour or so, and we were just like what's going on, and it started going. We're like, all right, finally. What we didn't know is the train started going because the like emergency brake or whatever that the train whatever, how do you call it, conductor or driver or whatever, he they stopped working. He couldn't get him to work again. So the train starts going, and we see like the people that work in the train like panicking, like going through the train, and we're like, what's going on? And like the only answer we got is like, it's not good. So now we're out in the train waiting, like something about to happen, like
train.
Like a crash or something. We don't know. So that went on for a little while. Like I don't know how long it was exactly, but like for a little while we're just going with like no brakes. Like the train there goes about like in miles, maybe like 20 miles an hour. It was going like 60, 70, like crazy speed. Like it's not supposed to do that there. And then it derailed in a tunnel, which actually helped us because the tunnel had like a little turn, so that made it slow down when it was like hitting against the tunnel. So it derailed in the tunnel, and meanwhile, like this whole time the train is going, you're just waiting, like what's gonna happen. And then once it derailed, like you could hear like all the noise from like scratching the tunnel, And then like we got out of the tunnel, and I just remember like we like flew for a little bit, and then we just like hit. And I think like once we hit, I think I lost conscious for a little bit. Like I was kind of in and out, and then like we rolled over for a little bit. Like I mean, I had my hands over my head. I don't like remember. I mean, I didn't see like what was happening.
Right.
Like I was, like I fell on between two seats, and I had like some of my teammates on me, and then like I had a door on me, like crazy. And then like the train stopped after a little while. And I just like I remember like opening up my eyes, and then the first thing for me was because my dad was our coach, like was to just try to find my dad. So I got up, and then like I saw him, he was already up, like helping other people, and then it was just like hectic. I mean, like trying to figure out like where we go, what we do. Like then like the police came, ambulance, emergency, like all that, like the army. I mean, it was a huge, like it was the worst tragedy I think in Montenegro history. But it was like, I think it was like 200-300 people on the train. 60 people died. I mean, kids, young kids, like babies, like all. It was bad. I mean, a lot of people had a lot of bad injuries. Like a lot of my teammates that couldn't play anymore after that, or like limited their career. Like it was bad. Like I luckily, thank God, I didn't have any like major stuff, like small things here and there, but it was bad. I mean, it's been a while, but like for a long time, like I could not get on a train. Like there was no chance. Like even if like driving, it was a little higher speed. It was like some people still have a lot of trauma from it. Like I got lucky that I've been fine, but a lot of people.
took the train.
In Philly.
I was
New
fine
York
by
to
then.
DC,
By then I was fine. I was like, so I was 6,
7, 8 years.
6
8 years
years.
later.
I was fine after that, but it was also different, like because like in like the train in Montenegro where it's at, and like in Philly is like different.
different,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, I was fine after that. But it took me a couple of years to finally get on the train. It wasn't. I remember one time I tried, and like it was the same type of train that like we were on, and like I saw it coming. Like I was like, it was me, my wife. She was my girlfriend then. Like we come back from the beach, and we're gonna take train back home, and I see it coming, and I'm like. And she's like, "You sure you can take it?" Like, I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine, whatever." Like, we were waiting there for like 10, 15 minutes, and we had like our friends with us, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And as I see it coming, like, I just start like this weird feeling, and like I grabbed the handle like to step on, and the smell of it was the same as it was, and I just like let go, like I just could not, and like my friend grabbed me, and I was like, "There's no chance I'm going in there." There was just no, like the feel I had, I can't even like explain it how it is, but it was just like. There was no chance, and then, so it was bad.
That's
but
like
like,
eerie.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, lucky because I didn't have many like bad injuries. I think over time I was
Right.
able to like kind of suppress it and deal with it. But like people have to like live with it for like people that lost close relatives that had bad injuries that have to live with it, and like it probably reminds them all the time of it.
Well, man, I'm glad you made it through. You know,
it worked out.
Yeah. Condolences to the families. But more than anything, man, you just had a hell of a career. I always want to say we proud of you. Like we
Yeah,
saw
for
you
real.
when you were a
For
baby.
sure.
So anytime you play well, you know, it feel like we a part of that. Just because you know who your vets are when you're a rookie is a major thing.
But
So
to touch on that, you probably I don't even remember, but you after one game you asked me to like grab you some towels, and I went to get towels. I came back, and like you told me to put them on the chair, and like your watch was there. Like I didn't mean the watch was there. I was like there's a watch there. Like whose is it? And he was like, "You like it?" I was like, "Yeah, it's nice." He was like, "It's yours." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Take it." I was like, "No." I mean, it was like a Breitling. I still have it, by the way. I still keep it. But
I don't even remember that.
Damn, big dog.
He was
chill
like,
out,
he was like, "No, it's yours. Just keep it." I'm like,
money
"Nah, I
like
can't."
that?
I was like, "I can't do that." Like, I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't know how much it was worth, but
I
like,
do
I
remember
can't
that
take that.
watch.
There's no
Blue
way I
face?
do. And then you were like, "No, white face."
White face.
Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly.
White face, brown
Brown
leather,
band.
brown
Yep,
band.
brown
yeah.
leather
I
band.
do remember that because
He
I
was
looked. I said,
like,
"You what?"
No, then you told me like you got to do it. It's your rookie duty to take it. So I had to take it. And I still have it to this day. I keep it.
Oh man.
So you know our guy from Geneva Seal, David. What's my man's name?
Alex.
Alex from Geneva Seal
I don't remember.
on Oak Street. Right down here's a watch store out here.
Oh, I never been there.
Oh no.
No.
I think you've been to Richard Mille across the
I've
street.
been, yeah, I've been there.
Oh,
But that's the same
store.
thing. It's the
Yeah,
same
he's
thing. He's
okay.
across the street.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they'll probably been.
Yeah, but that's Dre's guy too. So yeah,
I'm poor.
but still.
Fam, I'm glad you remember that. Damn.
No, I do, man. That was
Damn.
a big thing for
Damn.
me. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tell a lot of people about it when they ask me like, like people that helped me. Like I always like mention you, and like you were good. Drew was great to me. Tony Batty was huge.
Yeah,
Like,
Tony
Spencer
Batty.
Hawes was
Spencer,
like,
we had a special group of guys.
No, we did.
Yeah,
And
a
Nick-
group of guys.
And Nick, we would go grab dinner at night.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, like
when
you, like
land.
we drove back a lot from the airport because I live next to you. Like
Yep.
I mean, that building next to you. I
Yes,
couldn't
sir.
afford your building, but I was in the
I
building
remember
next
that.
to you.
I remember
so.
that.
That was a
It
good
was.
time.
We had a good team, man.
We had some
I don't
funny
know
ass
why
moments,
I don't know
bro.
why I mean, they took it apart. But like Lou Will was with us too.
Yeah.
Joe
Dad
Lee,
Young.
Dad
Damn,
Young,
Yeah.
I tell people all the time that was one of my closer teams. Like I'm just closer to that team, just as close as I am with the Warriors, if not more that team, just because like we lived in Philly, we had to survive together.
Yeah, we also were just, I feel like in that little ass locker room, we were so open, pause, that like, you know, I'm just saying, but like literally we had like some of the most funniest times on
No, we
earth,
did.
bro.
It was-
Like, and even like, you knew we were tight because in people's bad moments, we could all laugh at it. And it was like an open joke, you know what I mean? But that was lit.
No, it was a good year. We're like through up and downs, and we ended up like strong. I mean, close to like getting to the Eastern Conference Final, like from the 8 seed. I mean, D Rose got hurt; it helped us, but
A bunch of
still,
guys
though,
had success on that team.
Yeah.
for sure.
Bunch of
After that,
guys,
yeah,
yeah. We all had our own successes. So wishing you nothing but the best, man. We continue to watch you, and just keep killing it, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Issa rap.
It's a rap.
Sure, man.